Okay, we're going to try this again. I just going to throw that first try away because the camera just won't cooperate. It's going to be upside down before we get very far. Let's see what we got here. We're ready to pour the third pour on the cistern. You can tell it's the third pour because there's no rebar sticking out of the wall. The top row of rebar is just below the pipes. There'll be another bar put on there right inch and a half down. And that's two girls on the crew. Front one's Bia. That's related to all the Utigas and Delanons and all those people. She's a Utiga. Her daddy worked for us for years. I don't know who the other girl is. Been hired since we left. Let's see here. This is the cistern poured, and it's 11 feet 6 inches tall. The noteworthy thing here is that they've only put 1/3 of the bolts in the forms. The other holes is all empty. And I copied these forms from Texas Filipino. We put them together, it's a little bit different, but they're the same basic form. And apparently they're way over designed. That's a 7-inch thick wall. He's doing 4-inch thick walls. But this is underground water storage tanks. They got to be a little heavier than house walls. That's going to be our next project, Dirty Kitchen. And they sent us to show us how much gravel is left. We told them we wanted to use up this, what is that, limestone? It's broken up limestone. We like this obsidian rock down here. So when we use it up, we'll get the other kind. Digging. Okay, they must have, they've poured the third layer on the cistern. It's like 21 feet square and 11 feet 6 high. It was originally planned for 37,800 gallons, but it ended up a tad wider and one panel 4 feet shorter due to somebody not being able to read a tape. And somebody over here not bothering to look and count the panels. So we all get a little share of this. We're going to try to raise it. You notice how tall this fella up here is. He's over 6 feet. That's got to be Ruhel. I didn't know he was working this year. But I don't know any other Filipino that lives out in this area. He's got to be from around here because Modified Enhanced Community Quarantine, MECQ. We got people this time pretty much as many as we need because they got trapped on our side of the quarantine line. They live across the street, so they can't get to their jobs. So they're working for us. And some of them couldn't get back home after a day's work because we have a enforced curfew. There's the river, so you have to cross either on the boats that you pay or the Ternate Bridge. So you've only got 2 routes. It's not hard for them to enforce the quarantine. Okay, here we've done taking the top forms off. And you'll notice how few bolt holes are in this. Like, that's a good 4 feet across there, and then it's about a foot. But there's supposed to be another 3 bolts in here. And another 2 whole rows of bolts, they're all missing. And then the bottom needs a set of bolt holes that match these because you're going to raise the forms up. And the most pressure's down there. But anyway, we didn't manage to get bolts in holes. and didn't know it until the pour number 6 here, which is the third on the cistern. To the left here, there's some holes where the water comes in. Rather than make a rectangular, nice inlet on the thing, I wanted to be able to exclude dogs, those things that look like rats but aren't. I guess there aren't. So I can put a piece of screen wire, something to exclude anything bigger than a mouse. You don't want a bunch of dead water or dead rats floating around in water you're going to take a bath in. And it would probably make the toilet smell too. This is another view of the cistern a little farther to the right. And there's still a whole bunch of bolts missing. Okay, they're setting up here for the next project, which is the fish tank. 14 by 24, maybe a little longer than 24. I haven't got any dimension on it. All the dimensions I have for the wall rectangle are wrong. They're not even they're not in the ballpark. They must be from some other job site. Anyway, it's big enough to grow some tilapia, enough to keep the table going. They were kind of leaning towards brackish water shrimp, but we'll see how that goes. It'll do either. This is another view from on the bottom, which you can't see. That's the edge of our gutter on the bottom. So the fish tank has to be higher than the gutter. It has to be higher than the surrounding dirt. So it's going to go up a 4 foot and a 3'6", and then we'll just see where we're at. But it has to have some more height. More than one pour anyway. Judging from this, I think these scaffolds are 5 feet. And more than that. Anyway, they've got 3 scaffold bucks here with X braces in one side of each of them. And they can slide that along left to right here to carry concrete out there. And the gutter is 5.5 feet wide. So they got plenty of sidewalk. And then this other one over here is freestanding, and they can slide that around and turn the corner and come back. So it's about an average setup for us. We didn't come halfway around the world to hurt anybody, and they've got rebars tied on here for handholds, I guess. And this is only 24 inches wide. I'd rather it was 32, but that's what they had. These are forms from the spider beam. We have 20 of them, so they're physically in pretty good shape. I don't know what this is laying up there. I don't think there's any holes in any of these forms. That would be well, it's not Elijah or Al, so it's I can't remember. Pash. I can't pronounce his name. He's the middle of those 3 brothers. And there's 2 more of them that work here sometimes, but they're caught on the other side of the quarantine line. They're living in Ternate with their wives. Other than that, they'd never see them. Okay, this is the cistern with the forms off, and it's showing these inlet holes along the side here. It's easier to put them in and plug them up than to add them later. So I had them put 6. I know I need at least 2. And our perpetual dirt pile is still sticking its head up over here. But it's not 10 feet high anymore. It's getting shorter. Aurora said it's only a couple of feet. Dream on. This is our power miter saw. It's an Ozito made in Australia. And that's how we hack off these 7-inch long pieces of pipe. The blue pipe is 89 pesos for 10 feet. And the orange pipe was 134. Don't know why. But in any event, that saw gets new brushes about, I don't know, every 200 hours, something like that. They're commonly available up in the places we buy bolts in Manila. Those places all seem to sell what they call is carbon brush. They're in the house someplace. I can't place it. Oh, it's the living room. I see some formwork in here from the kitchen counter. And the cleanup dirt's all been thrown in a heap here. We have one of those orange 2-wheel, it's a Dempsey dumpster on wheels, but it's small enough you can take it anywhere you want to go with it. You know, it's manual propelled. It's like a real stable wheelbarrow. But they can bring that in here, and the girls can shovel it just full of whatever's on the floor. And then they can roll it. Usually they pull it so the tires roll over stuff first. And if it gets tough, the other one will go back and pick up on the rim a little bit and lighten it up. But they can clean up the whole site. All they want to know is where do I want to dump it out. When they get there, they just lift the handle a little bit and it flips over and dumps the stuff out. So you don't have to measure it into bags and hold bags. You just shovel it in there. And they make wooden trowels here. I don't know. It's like a wooden float. They're filling in the septic tank. I could count the panels on the forms, but I noticed first digester comes down 8 feet, and then there's like 5 feet left, and the digester is about 5 feet wide on this end, and it leaves 3 feet. So digester, this one over here is enzyme. Second one is bacteria. The third one is for, it's got a glass top on it. It's going to be those glass blocks you put in house walls, like beside windows and stuff, and in bathrooms. But it'll kill off the bacteria in the third section. And then we got a section where we can put in a few drops of iodine or a little chlorine from pool chemicals, basically, and knock it back. Once that evaporates, that water's really clean. It's not really so much a septic tank as a sewage treatment plant. And did we do yeah, we did the new rebars. Okay. And I think he's putting, no, these rebars around the sides, those were up when they stood the things up. And they just don't put the other ones in case they have to hand something back and forth. This is ease of working. And also, they're going to get these things centered up in the forms and tie them with the wires that they are in the center. And then you get a fresh start if you can just hand bend those bars and get them vertical before you put the next one. But all these bars were bent over about 2 days while they were painting them. So all they have to do is wire them on. And we use notch sticks. It's a 2x3 with edge notches in it. And you stand it on the concrete and just push the bars into it. And we have like 6 of them. So you can work in multiple places at a time. It takes 2. You know, one on each end and sometimes one in the middle. There's all the bars, all these peripheral bars, the horizontals, they all go at least 2 feet down a wall, lap. There's no joints of bars in the corners of the forms. I need to stand on my head so that this picture looks right. That won't hold water if it's tilted that bad. Where's the cursor? Over here by this pile of dirt. This is our house gutter. It's like 18-inch wide on each side, and then it's 9 inches deeper in the middle. Slopes down. You got about a 18-inch wide bottom and slopes back up, and then it's level again. And it meets up with the slab for the floor for the house, which is poured on top of the lower tie beams, the grade tie beams. So it makes a big wide sidewalk. We start out with the sidewalk pouring the floor so we'd have something to stand forms on. And so it wouldn't be muddy, so we could walk around the job site when it was raining. And then we started looking at stainless steel gutter, and the houses, the roof slabs are round. They're not decagon shaped like everything else. They're actually round. So making a gutter would have been a welding experiment. A lot of stainless steel. And I don't like mud splashed up the side of a house, especially a light colored house, you know, white and earth tones and things like that. Well, it wouldn't be bad on earth tones. So to keep the mud from splashing up and to make the gutter cheaper and also have a bigger area to collect water off of, we put the gutter on grade. It's about 4 inches above the grade. And any place we tie in a tank or something with a lid, it'll be flush with the gutter. And slanted a 1/4 inch to the foot to the gutter. So we'll pick up water, rainwater off the gutter as well as the whole shape of the house. And anything hits the sidewall of the house, which would be below a normal gutter. This camera can't go much farther, it's going to cut off. Pat won't be able to hold it. That's enough update for today. Anyway, this new one's called Fish Pond. And they pulled the forms off of the cistern top row yesterday. I can't stand it. And put them around the outside and started bolting them up. And that was Monday. It was poured on Thursday. And we could have pulled them off Saturday if it hadn't been pouring down rain. We like to leave them on 2 days. And nobody else likes that because it tends to give it more time to the bond to stick. But our forms don't stick. I don't know if I have a picture of that. I do, but I just don't know what it is. They're shiny like new. The working face. We're looking at a dirt wall on the other side, not looking at forms. But that's one of Bea's jobs. She polishes those things down and dusts them with WD-40. And then wipes that around with a rag soaked in WD-40. So that's silicone oil. And it evaporates over like 90 days. So we can put skim coat or something on it later. If we tried to skim coat it right after we pulled the forms, then it probably wouldn't stick because it's a lubricant. But the forms don't get water damage. It expels water. And the concrete doesn't stick to it at all. You take the bolts out, you better not be standing in front of it because that sucker's coming down. Especially if you have them on a ceiling. And ours come down off ceilings big bang usually. Just pull out a prop and run. The supports are all 1.5 inches short. There's a block of wood under them next to the floor. That lets us knock those out and makes the stuff holding the plywood up for the floor slabs, makes it loose, 1.5 inches loose. So you start taking those things out, leaving about 1/3 of them, and so you can maneuver them through the door. Because you don't want to get like we did in the electrical room, where we had all that stuff come down, and it was all inside, and we were all on the outside, which was good. But we couldn't turn anything around to get it out. And everybody said, well, I'll go up on the roof and get it. And everybody looks at him, oh, really? Don't you realize we just poured a concrete ceiling in this room? It's a complete concrete box. Yeah. But after that, we got a little more savvy about how to take those things down. But see, we put polyethylene plastic stretched over the whole house. And that's a bearing for earthquakes. When you get that little 1.5 inches jitter back and forth, you really don't want... We have all the rebars from the walls are like these rebars, except they're 18 inches longer than the height to the wall. And that lets us bend every other one to the one side and every other one to the other side and embed them in the floor. Man, what a day I'm having. Paint on the rebar. A lot of people don't like that. I do like it. We're in a salty climate. Oh, I'm getting a message. Okay. She used to go headed for church today, and Nees woke up because she's running this crew. Aurora's on duty from about 6:30 or 7 at night until 5 in the morning. I don't speak Tagalog, so all I have to do is the drawing. Working on the dirty kitchen right now, window bucks. I'll do a video on that when they go to build them. We come up with some fairly nice bucks for everything, windows and doors. We use the same door bucks to make the jambs and the round tops and everything, because we have them, and they'll match the house. They're so close to the house. But I didn't go with the round windows because I need to be able to have 6 window bucks in place when we pour the ring. We're going to put the buck 6 inches into this 4-foot high wall first pour. The rest of it will just be up above it until we put the second ring of concrete. And that lets us have that void underneath the window that always traps air and the concrete doesn't fill it. That lets you put a piece of rebar with the ends bent up and work it back and forth and up and down, and it fills it completely. Other alternatives is you can drill your top and bottom plate of your buck and have a rebar that you put down in there with the end bent and spin it around and wiggle it back and forth. But you gotta jostle that concrete somehow. We weren't able to jostle it on the main house because the forms were just so heavy duty. You could beat them with a sledgehammer, but it didn't do any good. We had a vibrator, and that did pretty good if we remember to use it. But we got a really nice surface finish on the house. But we couldn't get those pipe spacers out. Everybody was telling me how you just knock them out. Yeah, right. I watched Texas Filipino reach up there and put his finger on one and slide it out. No, I believe that was a setup. I've never had one come out like that. It's a self-inflicted thing. I told them run the nuts up on the bolts and turn them a half a turn. They don't have to. They're not holding machinery together. You're holding wood together with a pretty big bolt, So everybody, I didn't give them the electric wrench to tighten them with. I gave them the electric wrench when they took them apart because a lot of times there was a foot of thread to deal with. Let me get the pointer here. Let me see where it is. See this orange looking thing? We don't cut our bolts too short, and we repurpose everything so many times. I don't know what that bolt was for, but it was 3 inches too long for what they're doing now. And rather than have concrete on the threads and have to screw a nut down that far, we just put a piece of 3/4 PVC pipe, because we're using 1/2-inch bolts for everything, and then a flat washer and a nut. So we only have to screw that nut on about, I don't know, 1 inch total. And so we have a lot of places where they do that. Okay. Well, we're going to have another video on this, maybe even 2, when they do the fish pond. See, today will be the forms he's working on here. They may finish them today, but we're not pushing anybody, to overwork themselves. We're just trying to keep everybody eating while the pandemic's on. And when we can't work at all, we still pay them. But we haven't got a very big crew, except for this last 2 weeks, because they're all trapped on the wrong side of the quarantine line. Can't get back. So that they ended up at our job rather than where they're supposed to be working. But as soon as they can get done, I got no complaint with them going back. The people have, employed them through the pandemic, and same as we do. So that's not a problem. But we're glad to have them because we're wanting to get anything that's down in the ground. We want to get at least the bottom pour on it. So that's 4 feet high. And that way, if we get 4 feet of water in that hole, we won't have our forms soaking up water from underneath. And the dirty kitchen is all a slab that's already poured. So when we shift to that, then we can throw a tarp over the forms or something. Some of that tarpaulin stuff, and keep the worst of the water from being on them. And again, if we get the bottom layer done out there, they're pretty much impervious to it after that. You'll notice that we have the alligator phenolic board and also the cam phenolic board. I'm not sure if either one of them is better than the other. I mean, the same Chinese people make them all, so. Oh, but phenolic board, it's 100 pesos, $2 more a sheet, but stuff doesn't stick to it. Oh, they're trying to sell me something on the telephone on one of those robot dialers. I don't answer and I don't decline it. Okay. I'm designing an apartment for the top of the dirty kitchen, so I'm going to get back to that. We just got some pictures from the site from yesterday, and I thought there was enough progress. Of course, nobody watches our videos. We got a couple with 0 views on them. None of our 11 subscribers like those videos. I just can't understand it. I think we're doing a little better at keeping on the topic. It's not quite as tangential as it had been at times. Okay. You'll have a real nice day. You don't have to click like or subscribe or any of that stuff if you don't want to. We have no commercials, no ads. We're not monetized. It's an information channel. It just lets us know somebody's actually watched it and thought enough to click something. But if you click don't like, it would be nice to have a comment what you didn't like. Shaky camera work, I understand that. Not staying on the subject, yeah, I know that. But if there's something, we have multiple formats. We have walk-around videos, actual videos, and we have these snapshot things because it's so boring to watch somebody pick a piece of rebar up and just tie it. And there's so much of it. Okay, bye. See you later.